What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Super excited to have Andre from Heliswap with us today. As you guys know, within the Hedera Corner, in collaboration with HashPack, we're doing tons of interviews in the Hedera ecosystem. Heliswap is the first DEX and DAO supporting swaps between HTS tokens, ERC20 tokens, and HBAR on the Hedera network. How are you doing today, Andre?
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me here. Doing very good, and appreciate the opportunity to talk about Heliswap and everything Hedera related with you today. How about you? How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I'm losing track of days here, but we're back into the new year. It's good to see some green action in the market, especially after 2022. If you could maybe provide a little bit of a background about the project and the team for Heliswap. You know, when did you guys kind of decide that you wanted to launch this? When did you decide that you wanted to launch on Hedera as well?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Maybe let me start off by introducing myself. So like you said, my name is Andre, focusing on strategy and business development for Heliswap. And how Heliswap really came into existence was because it is a collaboration between Mantra, which is like a DeFi platform, and also operating like a nodes business. So these people are very good when it comes to the DeFi aspect of things. And also LimeChain, which is like the powerhouse, the dev team that built all these nice smart contracts at the back end. And they came together and kind of created Heliswap in collaboration, because we saw there was a gap in the ecosystem, with the ecosystem also becoming EVM compatible, meaning that all the devs out there that are currently building on Ethereum network or any other EVM compatible chain can just use the code as it is and redeploy it on the Hedera network. And LimeChain, they definitely, like, a big shout out to them. They built a lot of developer tools also that make deploying smart contracts and whatnot a lot easier for everyone in the ecosystem. So LimeChain together with Mantra just saw this opportunity to build a DEX here, and this is how we came into existence and how we came to life. And it has been quite a journey, to be honest. So I think the idea came about like 9 months ago. Then it was a lot of road mapping and figuring out like how to go forward. And there was also some obviously very good collaboration with the Hedera Foundation, where we're also very thankful for them. So from the Hedera Foundation, big shout out to them as well. Heliswap got like a 30 million HBAR token grant, which is currently being distributed to towards the community if you participate, in those yield farming campaigns. But yeah, this is a little bit about like how Heliswap came into life and who are the people behind it. And we're split obviously also across the globe. So a few people sit here in Hong Kong with me, and the LimeChain people, they sit in Bulgaria. So trying to be very global. And the funny thing is though, as you know, the big part of the Hedera community is actually in more like in the US. So we're definitely trying to hit all the different time zones at all times of the day, basically, or night, depending on where you are situated.
Yeah, LimeChain is kind of wow. Yeah, they are a powerhouse. You're correct, but from the community standpoint, I wish more people would follow some of the stuff that they're doing, because they're certainly a powerhouse. It's actually a little bit of a sidebar. It's how I found out that Alliance Block was using Hedera Consensus Service like maybe a year and a half ago, before it was even announced, just looking through GitHub and stuff like that. In the vision statement that you guys have for the documentation on docs.heliswap.io, you guys have the vision statement as being, ultimate goal of Heliswap is to become the preferred DEX and DAO for users in the Hedera ecosystem. Can you touch base on how the team is planning to achieve that? Because obviously we do know that there's some competition, which is good, in the Hedera ecosystem right now from the DEX standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. That's a very good question. And maybe let me start off by saying I completely agree with you. Competition is very good. It makes you wake up every day and try to work hard on yourself and hard on building a good product that everyone wants to use. And hopefully we're going to get there to become the preferred DEX by all people in the Hedera network. And our plan and roadmap to get there is simply, like we built the DEX and we're also learning while we're building it and learning together with the community. So one key takeaway, for example, that I would like to mention is the DEX is kind of more touching upon the DeFi side of things, right? But we actually quickly learned that in the Hedera ecosystem, the NFT space was much earlier than the DeFi space. So this is why we then started to collaborating with a lot of different NFT projects out there, trying to figure out what the community really likes about the DeFi space and how we can slowly migrate them, for example, from the NFT space into the DeFi or onto the DeFi side of things. So this is why we started doing Twitter Spaces. On this one side, we joined Twitter Spaces from other NFT projects, but also we hosted our own Twitter Spaces where we are trying to actively get NFT projects to talk to us, then also get listed on our DEX and just educate everyone within that community on how to DeFi basically. And another thing that I would like to highlight here is in terms of how we want to become the preferred DEX is by being very transparent and open about everything that's happening. So that, for example, being said, we know very clearly that if you would put APY numbers on yield farming campaigns, they just appear a lot higher, right? Because APY means the compounded interest, meaning every day you harvest, you restake it, and this is how a higher number comes into play. But we purposely put the APR number on it because that just simply means you put in money today, and if you don't move it for a year's time, you will get exactly that percentage. So transparency is definitely one thing that we also want to highlight and that we think is very important in the space because, like aforementioned, a lot of people are only in the NFT space. Some people actually have never potentially touched upon DeFi before, and it can be quite scary and overwhelming when you go into that crypto space for the very first time. And what I also found very interesting is a lot of people, like we heard a couple of times that people actually that own NFTs on Hedera have never touched crypto before they bought an NFT on Hedera. So there is definitely room to educate a lot of people as well. And that brings me a little bit back to the transparency thing, but also the educational part. Like we're trying hard to build good analytics pages. So we first started with an analytics page that just shows you, overall details on what the DEX is, how the DEX is doing, what the TVL is and whatnot. And then we came out with a version 2 of it that is now showing more detailed information on each of the different pools that we're having. And we're also, and I think I can mention it already, working on a version 3 of that is going to bring out user-specific analytics, meaning that you will know exactly how much you have staked, where you have staked it, how much are you going to earn if everything stays unchanged, what is impermanent loss, how much are you affected by it, how is that going to look like if you unstake at this point in time. So just trying to make it very transparent and clear to people what they're getting into if they, for example, provide liquidity or if they stake on a yield farming campaign, or if they just simply do a swap, right? Because there's also a fee involved when you swap a currency. There is slippage. It depends on how deep a certain pool is. So there are a lot of factors that we kind of just really want to educate people on. And speaking of education, something I think that is unique in the Hedera space is also that all these tokens have different keys, right? You have like an admin key, a freeze key, a pause key. So whenever we list a project on our DEX that contains one of those keys, we also highlight that that particular project, that particular coin or token has such a unique key involved with it, and just has like a disclaimer: token XYZ has this and that key. That means that the owners of that particular token could potentially do, I don't know, like mint more tokens, swipe the token, freeze the token, depending on the key that is involved. So I was rambling on a lot of different topics, but this is kind of our way forward. And also another thing, oh yeah, there's a lot of things that we're trying to fit under the hood here, is we just really want to be community driven as well. So we are also working on bringing out a DAO where everyone can then participate in a fair manner, and where not, you get an advantage if you, I don't know, just have been a super early support. I mean, that is also obviously very important to, be beneficial for the super early supporters, but we still want to make it fair that everyone can participate in decisions that are being made. Let it be, for example, a fee switch to be turned on and whatnot. So we're working very hard to bring out a DAO very soon as well.